Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The first thing Dr. Ethan Reeves saw when he woke up was the sky breaking open. Not with fire, not with lightning, with engines. Blue-white streaks tore across the purple twilight of the uncharted moon, carving lines through the clouds like glowing knives. The ground beneath the ancient ruins trembled as something massive entered orbit. Rescue had come, and Ethan had never felt less relieved. He stood at the entrance of the stone chamber, beside the only intelligent being within 100,000 kilometers. Kalira did not move. Her glowing eyes reflected the burning lines above. "They return for you," she said softly. Ethan swallowed. "They're not just here for me." Above them, the ship rotated into position, a dark spear-shaped silhouette against the gas giant's distant light. It was not a rescue vessel. It was military. The insignia blinking faintly across its hull confirmed it: Terran Colonial Defense Fleet. Humanity's shield. Humanity's sword. And humanity did not ignore powerful energy readings. Behind Ethan, ancient crystal systems hummed nervously. Kalira's ruins were alive with stored power, technology centuries beyond human understanding. The fleet would see it. They would want it. And they would never leave without it. The truth he did not say. 10 days ago, Ethan had been dying in a broken escape pod. 10 days ago, Kalira had dragged him from the wreckage and fed him alien stew while he was unconscious. 10 days ago, she had expected him to fear her. Instead, he had asked questions. He had studied her energy-draining ability. He had held her hand. He had proven she could stop before harm was done. For decades, she had lived alone because her people called her a monster. For 10 days, one human had treated her like a person. Now humanity itself was coming. And Ethan did not trust which version would land. A voice crackled from his half-repaired communications array. Unidentified structure below, energy readings off the scale, ground team deploying. Kalira stiffened. "They come inside." Ethan nodded slowly. "If they scan you, they will take," she finished. "Not kill. Not destroy. Take." Humans were efficient like that. Ethan turned to her. "If they try to touch you, defend yourself," he said quietly. Her eyes widened. "You said I am not monster." "You're not," he replied, "but you are not helpless either." The sky roared as 3 dropships detached from the fleet vessel and descended. The moon shook. Dust rose in spirals across the obsidian plains. And Ethan made a decision that would change both their lives. The lie. He stepped to the transmitter and opened a direct channel. "This is Dr. Ethan Reeves, civilian xenobiologist. Abort landing." Static answered him. Then a sharp voice: "State reason." Ethan did not hesitate. "The structures below are unstable ancient reactors. Energy buildup indicates imminent cascade failure. If you land, you risk detonation." A pause. The commander responded, colder now. "Our scans do not confirm that." "They won't," Ethan replied. "Your sensors aren't calibrated for non-human crystal matrices." It was a gamble. He was betting on human arrogance and human caution. Above, one dropship slowed. The other 2 did not. Kalira watched him closely. "You protect me," she said quietly. "I protect science," Ethan answered automatically. Then he smiled faintly. "And maybe friends." Humanity arrives. The first dropship landed half a kilometer away. The second touched down directly outside the ruins. Metal boots hit stone. Rifles charged. A squad of armored soldiers approached the entrance. Ethan stepped forward before Kalira could. The soldiers aimed at him instantly. "Dr. Reeves," the lead officer asked. "That's me." "You are to step aside. This site is now under fleet jurisdiction." Ethan folded his arms. "No." "Silence." The officer lowered his rifle slightly, confused. "Doctor, you are a civilian. This is beyond your authority. You're standing on an archaeological site belonging to a sentient species," Ethan said evenly. "That makes it beyond yours." The soldiers shifted uncomfortably. The officer's helmet visor reflected Ethan's stubborn expression. "We detected massive energy readings," the officer said. "We will secure the source." "You secure it," Ethan said carefully, "and you might trigger something you don't understand." Behind him, Kalira remained hidden in shadow. The officer stepped forward. "We are not leaving." Ethan inhaled slowly. This was the moment. He could step aside. Let them enter. Let them discover her. And once they did, they would study her, test her limits, push her, weaponize her. Humanity did that to everything powerful. Or he could stand his ground, even if it meant being arrested, even if it meant being labeled unstable, even if it meant never going home. He chose. "You take one more step," Ethan said calmly, "and I will personally testify that the fleet endangered first contact protocols. I will release every data log I have to the Colonial Council." That hit. Politics mattered. Public image mattered. First contact violations were not taken lightly. The officer hesitated. Above them, the fleet commander cut into the channel. "Dr. Reeves, are you claiming intelligent life on this moon?" Ethan glanced back at the darkness behind him. Kalira's glowing eyes met his. She looked afraid. Not of the soldiers. Of his answer. "Yes," Ethan said clearly. A long silence followed. Humanity had searched for confirmed alien intelligence for generations. And now it stood at the entrance of ancient ruins, with a civilian scientist refusing to move. The commander spoke again, voice slower now. "Can you confirm peaceful intent?" Ethan almost laughed. "Peaceful intent? From which side?" "Yes," he answered firmly, "I can." Behind him, Kalira stepped forward into the dim light. The soldiers gasped. She stood tall but did not raise her hands. Did not glow brighter. Did not attack. She simply stood beside the human who refused to abandon her. The officer whispered, "What is it?" Ethan corrected him. "Who?" Kalira's voice came soft through the translator. "I am Kalira." The soldiers looked at their commander's holographic projection flickering beside them. The commander studied the scene carefully. One unarmed alien. One stubborn scientist. No visible threat posture. "Stand down," the commander finally ordered. Weapons lowered slowly. Ethan released a breath he had been holding for several minutes. A new beginning. The commander's voice softened slightly. "Dr. Reeves, you will submit a full report. We will establish a diplomatic observation perimeter. No extraction of materials until further review." It was not perfect, but it was not invasion. The dropships powered down. The soldiers retreated to a respectful distance. For the first time in decades, Kalira stood before strangers who did not attack her, who did not exile her, who did not call her monster. They were cautious, curious, human. Kalira looked at Ethan. "You stayed," she said quietly. "Yes," he replied. "You lose home." Ethan shrugged lightly. "Home is overrated." She tilted her head. "Why?" He looked at the horizon, where human ships hovered like distant stars. Because sometimes, he said softly, home is where you decide to stand. Kalira's glow brightened just a little. The moon that had once been a prison no longer felt empty. Above, humanity did something rare. It paused. It listened. It chose not to take. And on that quiet alien world, under a sky of violet light and distant engines, a single human proved something powerful. Humanity was not defined by its weapons, not by its fleets, not by its hunger for energy or territory. It was defined by choice. And sometimes, humanity chose to protect. Ethan stood beside Kalira as the last dropship engines cooled. The air of the uncharted moon was thin but not deadly, a soft twilight settling across the crystalline ruins. For the first time in decades, Kalira had company who didn't fear her, yet peace was fragile. From orbit, the larger fleet ship maintained a silent vigil. Scanners swept the landscape repeatedly, analyzing energy signatures, mapping the ruins, and broadcasting data back to Earth. Humanity's curiosity was relentless, efficient, unstoppable, and, as Ethan knew all too well, dangerous. Kalira's glowing eyes reflected the moon's faint light. Her luminous skin pulsed subtly as she shifted, a low hum vibrating through the ancient stones. "They will not leave," she said softly. "They won't take," Ethan corrected. "Not if we show them what cooperation looks like." She studied him. He could see the skepticism behind her mask, decades of exile etched into her posture. "I have learned humans," she admitted. "They act with fire, burn first, question later." "And yet," Ethan said, "I am standing here." She considered that. The arrival of science. Hours later, a civilian research team arrived in smaller shuttles, not military but still human. Scientists, engineers, and diplomats descended carefully, guided by Ethan's data and the fleet's cautious oversight. Ethan introduced Kalira to them slowly, step by step. "This is Kalira," he said, "an individual of extraordinary biology and intelligence. She has lived alone for decades. Any action we take here affects her directly." The lead scientist, a woman named Dr. Lin, stepped forward, clipboard in hand, eyes wide with curiosity and fear. "Dr. Reeves," she said, "we detected energy output beyond any known mechanism. Can you confirm sentience?" "Yes," Ethan replied simply, "and cooperation is possible. That is what matters now." Kalira's hands trembled slightly. She had expected aggression. She had expected fear. But curiosity and caution were different. They could coexist. Ethan smiled softly. "See, humans can choose better than their worst instincts." The scientists recorded data, carefully documenting Kalira's physiology, the crystal systems, and the ruins' strange energy flows. No invasive procedures. No binding her in restraints. Kalira studied them in return, testing each human reaction. By the end of the day, a quiet understanding had settled between them. The threat emerges. As night fell on the moon, a shadow streaked across the horizon. Not human, not mechanical, something ancient. Ethan was the first to see it, a predator not from this star system, not cataloged in any human or fleet database. A massive creature, sleek and dark, moved across the crystalline plains with predatory grace. Its eyes glowed faintly, and the energy reading spiked sharply. Kalira stiffened. "It knows life, I feel it." Ethan's heart raced. The scientists were unarmed. The fleet soldiers were still cautious. Only he and Kalira stood ready. The predator lunged. Its energy signature attempted to siphon from the ruins, a natural instinct to feed, to consume, to dominate. Kalira reacted instantly. She extended her hand, brushing against the creature's path. Energy flowed, not destructive but overwhelming. She did not strike. She absorbed enough power to repel it, forcing it to retreat with a deafening screech. The humans watched, awestruck. Ethan knew the danger had only just begun. You can't control this fully, he said gently, and it could destroy us if it attacks again. Kalira looked at him, her eyes glowing fiercely. I will control, I will protect, or they die. Ethan felt the weight of her words. Humanity had always feared powerful beings. They had always sought to weaponize them. But here, a single human had inspired trust, had given choice instead of fear. And now, the universe demanded that trust be proven. The decision. The fleet had detected the attack. Scanners confirmed the energy spike. Dropships prepared to intervene. Soldiers readied their weapons. Ethan stepped between them and Kalira. No, he said firmly. If you fire, you'll provoke her. She will defend herself, and then you'll regret it. The officer hesitated. Ethan could see doubt in the man's posture. The man understood that sometimes strength was not in bullets but in restraint. Kalira extended her hands toward the predator again, drawing from the ruins crystalline energy. The creature shrieked, its body shimmering and twisting, then vanished into the shadows beyond the moon's horizon. The energy dissipated. The ruins hummed quietly once more. Silence fell. The scientists exhaled. The soldiers lowered their rifles. Ethan turned to Kalira. You saved all of us, he said softly, even the humans who would have hurt you. She looked at him, almost afraid to believe it. I did not kill. No, Ethan said gently. You protected life. That is the difference. That is what makes us human, and perhaps something more. Humanity earns trust. The next days were cautious but hopeful. The fleet established a perimeter. Scientists worked closely with Kalira, documenting the ruins and understanding her abilities. Ethan became the bridge between two worlds. He taught humans patience. He taught Kalira about human choice and morality, and slowly she began to trust them. Her abilities were no longer feared, her existence no longer exiled. For the first time, she felt part of something larger. Ethan spoke to her one evening, overlooking the crystalline forest. You've been alone for decades. You feared your own strength. You called yourself a monster, but look at them. Look at us. We are learning from you not to control you, but to understand. That is humanity at its best. Kalira's glow brightened. She extended her hand. Ethan took it, not for an experiment, not for study, for trust, for companionship. You forgive them? She asked softly. Ethan smiled. I don't have to forgive them. We are choosing better. That is enough. The final choice. Weeks passed. The fleet prepared to leave, leaving a small observation team behind to maintain the site. Ethan prepared to return to Earth aboard the civilian shuttle. Kalira stood at the entrance of the ruins. Her luminous eyes reflected the distant lights of departing ships. You go, she said softly. I could stay, Ethan admitted, but my place is with humans, to tell them what I've seen, to protect you in another way. She nodded. You human brave, you change things. I hope so, he said, because not all humans act like the fleet. Some can choose better. She smiled faintly, her mask lifted partially. Her trust in humanity was fragile but real. Ethan turned toward his shuttle. The engines hummed. The civilian scientists waved. The observation team saluted. As the shuttle lifted, Ethan looked back at the moon, at Kalira, at the ruins that had once imprisoned her. And he felt something profound. Humanity could be destructive. Humanity could be arrogant. Humanity could fail. But humanity could also protect, could choose, could rise above its fear. And sometimes, that choice was enough to save an entire species. The moon shrank in the distance. Kalira's glow remained visible even from orbit. Ethan smiled. He had found life, and life, he realized, had chosen hope. The stars stretched endlessly before him. Humanity had a chance to be better, and he would tell the story. For Kalira, for the moon, for all the worlds yet to come. And somewhere deep inside, Ethan knew this was only the beginning.